Some stories are hard to tell. Some truths are hard to hear. But silence can be even more damaging. Today, I want to talk about childhood abuse, a topic that is deeply personal to me and many others, and that affects far more people than we often realize. I am a survivor of childhood abuse. For years, I carried the weight of those experiences in silence. The fear, confusion, and pain didn't end when I grew up, they followed me, shaping how I saw myself and the world. But I'm not alone. Millions of people carry similar scars, often hidden from view. Childhood abuse comes in many forms: physical, emotional, sexual, and neglect. It can happen in any family, any community. Regardless of background, abuse is not just what happens, but also what is withheld: safety, love, and care. For a child, these experiences can be confusing and isolating. Often, children blame themselves, thinking they did something wrong to deserve the pain or neglect. This self-blame can be one of the most damaging legacies of abuse. The scale of the problem is staggering. According to the World Health Organization, up to 1 billion children between the ages of 2 and 17 have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional violence or neglect in the past year alone. In the United States, the CDC reports that about 1 in 7 children have experienced child abuse or neglect in the past year, though many cases go unreported. Nearly 400 million children under 5 worldwide regularly endure psychological aggression or physical punishment at home. In the U.S., 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys are estimated to experience child sexual abuse before adulthood. These numbers are not just statistics, they represent real children, real lives, and real pain. The wounds of abuse are often invisible. Survivors may struggle with anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and overwhelming guilt or shame. These feelings can last for years, shaping how we think, feel, and act. Even when we try to move on, abuse can make it hard to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or to believe that we deserve love. Many survivors struggle with emotional numbness, anger, or a sense of isolation. Some become perfectionists, always striving to prove their worth. Others may withdraw, feeling disconnected from the world around them, and the effects aren't just emotional. Research shows that survivors are at higher risk for physical health problems, chronic pain, heart disease, autoimmune disorders, and more. The body remembers what the mind tries to forget. The Adverse Childhood Experiences (ACE) study, which followed over 17,000 participants, found that those with a history of abuse were significantly more likely to develop chronic illnesses and even die younger than those without such experiences. Exposure to 4 or more adverse childhood experiences increases the risk of serious mental illness and chronic health problems. Traumas can change the very structure of the brain. Studies using brain scans have shown that children who experience abuse often have differences in the areas of the brain responsible for memory, emotion, and decision-making. This can make it harder to manage stress, regulate emotions, and cope with everyday challenges. For some, it can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, or self-harm. Surviving abuse is a lifelong journey. The effects can show up in school, at work, and in our closest relationships. Children who have been abused are more likely to struggle academically, have trouble concentrating, or act out in class. As adults, survivors may find it difficult to trust co-workers or supervisors, or they may avoid close relationships altogether. Healing is possible, but it takes time, support, and understanding from ourselves and from those around us. Abuse doesn't just affect the person who experienced it. It ripples out, touching families, friends, and communities. Sometimes, the people around us don't understand why we react the way we do, or why we struggle with certain things. Partners, friends, and even children of survivors can be affected by the trauma that lingers. That's why awareness matters. To illustrate how far-reaching these effects can be, I want to share some of my story. Mama married someone, and shortly into the relationship, we moved across the state, and that became my home. I was about 6 years old at this point, and the few months went amazingly. Over time, he made my mom quit her job, join his church and take control of all our lives. The abuse started with our mom, in which he would hit her, scream at her about us, and she, at the time, took most of it to protect us. To avoid fights, she started letting him punish us over things that I would see now as minor things. Things like leaving a pair of pants on the floor would have the worst consequences you could imagine. At the end of it all, my teachers at school noticed the behaviors of a typically abused child. To anyone who understands what it looks like, and instead of showing understanding or reporting, she would report these behaviors to my parents, and would have deeper consequences at home. If a child took a pocket knife to school and held it up to her throat, at that point, one would report it to child services immediately. My teachers, parents, and family failed me. I spent 10 years of my life after self-harming and going through the emotions every day of my life. I have completely made a solid turnaround and use it to show others the compassion I was never shown. My story is a reminder that healing is possible, even after the darkest beginnings. Science helps us understand why abuse has such deep, lasting effects. Trauma changes the brain and body, affecting memory, emotion, and even the way we respond to stress. Toxic stress from ongoing abuse can disrupt brain development, weaken the immune system, and make it harder to learn or form healthy relationships. But the brain is also capable of healing with the right support. Therapy can be a powerful tool for healing. Cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused therapy, and EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, are just a few approaches that have helped many survivors process their trauma and develop healthier coping strategies. Support groups, whether in person or online, can also offer a sense of community and understanding. If you love someone who has survived abuse, your support matters. Listen without judgment. Be patient, learn about trauma and its effects. Small acts of kindness and understanding can make a world of difference. Teachers, counselors, and community members can also play a huge role in supporting children and adults who have experienced trauma. It's important to remember that healing doesn't mean forgetting or pretending the abuse never happened. It means learning to live with the past in a way that allows us to move forward. For some, this might mean setting boundaries with family members, seeking justice, or finding ways to forgive not for the abuser's sake, but for their own peace of mind. There are resources and communities out there for survivors and their loved ones. Reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Together, we can create a world where survivors are supported, believed, and empowered to heal. Organizations like the National Children's Alliance, Children's Advocacy Centers, RAIN, Rape, Abuse and Incest National Network, and local support groups provide vital services to help children and families recover. If you are a survivor, know this: your story matters. You are worthy of love, healing, and happiness. The road may be long, but you don't have to walk it alone. I see you. I believe you. And I am walking this path with you. Let's break the silence around childhood abuse. Let's educate ourselves, support survivors, and work to end the cycle for future generations. Change starts with awareness and with each of us. Thank you for listening. If you need help or want to learn more, please reach out.